Talking.
I figured. And ladies and gentlemen, it's another RotoHackers podcast, and there we go. I like
gotta get in the right position.
There we go.
Gotta do a little Nightcrawler teleport there.
There we go. Exactly. My name is AJ Herschel, also known as the Kid. Over there, you've got Judah Buddha, and over there, you've got the absolute stud. It's Jared. Gentlemen, I'm going to get right into it today. What did you guys think of Thursday Night Football? I know, Jared, you had a morbid curiosity for that game.
It was everything I hoped it would be. Oh, Cowboys. Oh, Cowboys.
Well, what is going on? Like, how come they can't win? Like, they have skill.
Yeah.
I couldn't figure out, like, it felt like they were cursed or something.
Because this goes against your entire, like, skill's gonna win philosophy. Because the Cowboys haven't beaten anyone good.
No. That's not my philosophy.
Is it not?
Is it not?
No, skilled players are like follow the skill for fantasy. That doesn't mean they're gonna win. Like that's the whole reason I follow skill, because you never know what's gonna happen.
Okay. But anyway, I was honestly very surprised when the Bears just jumped out like way far ahead. A lot later.
Yeah, I was surprised I was surprised that they got up to that much of a lead. But it's if you listen to I'll watch Undisputed some with Skip and Shannon, and even though Skip is like insufferable in a lot of ways, like when they actually get in discussions, like they're actually like really knowledgeable about a lot of this stuff. They just, Skip Bayless will just say provocative things like, I'd take Tim Tebow over Aaron Rodgers, just to get an audience. But they're actually pretty knowledgeable about it. And so a lot of guys like them, or Colin Cowherd, they'll point out, really, it's like, it's an organizational issue. And like after you've worked for several different companies in life, like you see that it really does all start at the top. Like if you don't have, like if you have a good owner, generally a good owner will put like a good GM in place. And I mean, this is across the board, not just NFL, but like just like kind of translating these terms to other organizations. Like a good owner will hire a good, CEO or manager or whatever, and then they'll hire good people, and then they'll hire good people, and it's a good culture. And if you have someone who's sort of in it for the wrong reasons or whatever, then it just all filters down. And, one thing that they always talk about is how, like, Jerry Jones is a fan. He's a fan. He's emotional with it. He's not the worst owner, but he's not a great owner in that he won't just like hire good people and get out of their way. The whole reason that the Cowboys dynasty kind of got off track in the first place, going all the way back to the days of Jimmy Johnson, was Jerry Jones wanted the credit. Like he didn't feel like he was getting enough credit. And like, this isn't like a theory. This is like, what him and, Jimmy Johnson have come out and said. And so he's like, if you took your average fantasy football owner, or, team owner that buys a $50 team, and you made them an owner of an NFL franchise, that's kind of like what you're getting. So I don't think it's never, like I've always said, like the Cowboys will never be like a real contender as long as Jerry Jones owns the team. And of course they got off to the start this year. They were just playing nobody and beating up on the Dolphins and the Giants. But then they come back to reality. So
that's why I was so high on Dak. Him and Lamar are the two people and Josh Allen. But man, that has come crumbling down. I was so high on Dak because he had his schedule, and now his schedule's turned, but he hasn't. There's no. Is Dak? Is he just terrible? Is he trash?
No,
I don't think he's terrible. I think he's.
I was watching him Thursday night, and it looked like he was trash.
I think he's very difficult to evaluate in some ways, because you've got. I don't know how good of a coach and how good of sort of a plan they have, like with I mean, just with not only with Jason Garrett, but with Kellen Moore too. One thing that people were talking about was like the Cowboys can do scripted plays. Like they jumped out to that great start, but then once they're forced to try to adjust, they just can't, And you've seen a lot of coaches like that, like Mike Smith when he was the Falcons head coach. Like they would get out to a great start, and then they were like constantly blowing 20-point leads and stuff like that. And so, but Dak's hard to evaluate because he's got. Well, I don't know that they've really played like it this year, but he's had a great offensive line.
Yeah.
He's got an elite running back. He's got really good receivers. And so I don't know. He's really hard to evaluate. Like, I don't think he's great. I don't think he's trash. I think he's somewhere just in sort of probably if you put him with, if you took all quarterbacks and you gave them all the same options, I think he'd be like right in the middle somewhere.
Yeah.
If you had to start a franchise and you only had the choice between Dak, Andy Dalton, and Case Keenum.
Oh,
Dak.
I mean Dak, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know. Like I think he's right. I think he's at that level.
Yeah, but I mean,
I think he's still above that. I think he's above that level, even though I was talking to some people. I was talking to some people about Jason Garrett's been there 10 years, and I was almost like scared to say it. And I was like, is he the NFC's version of Marvin Lewis? Is that what Jason Garrett is? 10 years, and it hasn't been a lot.
Yeah, that is a good comparison. I think it's just like ownership that doesn't really like to make decisions and make change. And just like with the Bengals, not only with Marvin Lewis, but just how they didn't trade AJ Green. There's absolutely not one even semi-justifiable reason to hang on to AJ Green. And they did. They just like, I don't know. Let's not make a decision. We'll just keep it.
Yeah. Plus, it doesn't help that the Cowboys haven't been able. Their defense, like supposedly, is supposed to be great, and they haven't been able to stop anyone worth stopping. Being that they just gave up 31 points to the Bears offense, and no one else is. They're beatable. They're a beatable defense we've seen this year too.
Yeah,
so that definitely doesn't help.
Right.
Even though I do got to say, Chicago, thank you for letting Amari Cooper get that garbage time touchdown, because that saved me in one league. That saved my game.
Yeah, I was playing against him in one league, but I had. So for fantasy, is Dak droppable?
Next week is a really hard choice because they're playing the Rams, and Lamar Jackson just destroyed the Rams 2 weeks ago. The Rams then just destroyed Kyler Murray last week, which I don't know.
Although Kyler Murray had a really good game, fantasy wise.
No. He scraped out 13 points on a rushing touchdown, or 14, something like that.
Really? It was 13, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He got like
a better game than that.
No.
Maybe you're thinking the first game. Maybe
the game
twice.
I don't remember.
I mean, like every other week at home, he's been really reliable, and then last week he was just trash. Like he just couldn't do anything. So he kind of like pulled it back a little bit with a rushing touchdown, but so I also then Dak sprained his that's
right, his hand or something,
his index finger or ring finger, I don't know. He sprained one of his fingers on his throwing hand. So that makes it a little shaky too. So I'm not sure what to do with him next week, because I've got some options in there, like Baker Mayfield against Arizona, which is pretty attractive. Even somebody like Tannehill or Fitzpatrick. Like Fitzpatrick's going against the Giants. So I'm like, I wish it was more of like a clear cut, like definitely start him or definitely don't start him, because I'm not sure what to do with Dak next week.
Yeah, I wouldn't drop him though.
I think I'm going to drop him.
I mean, even looking at his games, like if we're not, he's had 2 games under 17, which, I mean, is that bad? Absolutely. But still, I don't think that's worth dropping. There are a lot of quarterbacks, I think, who are more inconsistent than he is.
No, but look, when I think about my opponents playing him against me, I like that. I hope somebody picks him up and plays him against me. You know, like I have no. I feel like he's gonna get you like 17 to 20 points, but like that doesn't scare me. I'd rather them do that than play like Fitzpatrick against me, who could have like 40.
Yeah, maybe, but I mean, Dak's had a lot of like 20 plus, like 20 to 25 games
against crappy defenses.
Against mostly crappy defenses.
He had a good game against Buffalo, though. He got a 23-pointer against them.
Yeah, that was a garbage time special too. But he did.
He got the points.
He did get the points. So yeah. So that's why I say it's tough. It's tough. Like I don't know.
All right.
Yeah. Crypto EE, welcome to the show. It is playoff time.
That's right.
He says the Cowboys messed up letting Cole Beasley go. What do you think?
I do think it hurt. They don't have anybody in that, like, well, I guess
Cobb.
Yeah, Randall Cobb hasn't been too bad.
Cobb's played well. Like that's not been
that's true.
Like that's probably been among like all the Cowboys' problems. I would say that probably ranks towards the bottom. But I mean, he did. I think the thing about Cole Beasley that you can say is like they probably didn't use him effectively enough when he was there. Like I don't know that going from him to Cobb really makes that much of a difference. But I think like, you know, what he did with Buffalo there kind of shows that they probably didn't really use him as effectively as they could have.
Judah Buddha, what do you think about that?
About what?
Cole Beasley being let go.
The bees need. What is going on? Did you see what's going on in our chat?
Anyways. Yeah, I don't know. I'm working on it.
Okay. So I don't know. Yeah, I like Beasley a lot, and I think you're right, Jared. Like we're seeing how he, like his strength is just that like hard-working slot player who can really move the chains for a team.
So we are getting as we typically do on Saturdays into the Stardom Situm segment. So gentlemen, do you have any Stardom Situms for what could possibly be some people's last game as the playoffs?
First game? What?
It could be their last game. They don't win it.
First and last. Yeah. Oh yeah. So like most of my leagues, I am in the what do they call it? The
quarterfinals.
Yeah.
Quarterfinals. It's scary, man. I don't want to lose.
That's why I don't play. That's why I don't play leagues where I just play leagues where it's semis and finals, because I mean that's just so demoralizing to play a good season and then lose. I mean it's bad enough in the semifinals, but in the quarters, man. So
well, I'm on bye into
that's good.
Into league, so that is
nice.
Good. But so yeah, my main Stardom Situm was with Dak. Of course, I sat him across the board. I listened to what Jared said, and I'm so glad I did.
Which is just like a general rule of life. like this isn't just limited to Dak. This should be applied across the board to all situations. So.
Yes.
But can you imagine going into my semifinals with Dak? He got like 7 points or something like that.
No, he ended up with
17.
He ended up with 17 because of that garbage.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, 17 for a quarterback, nowadays is not. I mean, if you've got, a lot of good options. So
yeah. So I think I'm going to be playing. So start sit. Should I start? What was that?
Oh, I thought that was a build-up. I thought that was like a lead-in sound effect to your question.
Should I start Tannehill? Tannehill's the guy who I picked up mostly, and I'm feeling pretty good about Tanny. But what do you guys think?
Well, I mean, what's your other choice?
Yeah,
I mean, it's the usual suspects. You got Fitzpatrick. You've got let me look. Fitz, because that's
so you're picking him up. You're saying this week?
I already did. He's on.
Oh, okay.
I'm putting him in, but like I could drop him and pick up. I mean, there's just a lot of good quarterbacks. I could play Cousins, but
I like Cousins this week.
I like him too,
I've picked him up in a couple leagues, and the Vikings. That's the reason why I'm doing that is because the Vikings are not the first 5-week Vikings. The Minnesota Vikings have been much more efficient. Their offense has been much better. Could Dalvin Cook be banged up? Yeah, but Madison should do well even if he doesn't play. And Cousins has had 4 straight good weeks against good defenses, and he's playing one of the worst pass defenses in the NFL in Detroit this week. So I am starting Kirk Cousins and
See, I don't think the defense is that bad. Like, their defense is not that bad.
Statistically, or like giving up fantasy points?
In the last 4 weeks, they've actually been playing
They
better.
let the Biscuit throw 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, they did.
I think what worries me about that game is that it could be like a repeat of the Washington game where they just don't have to throw that much. I mean, they did in that first matchup.
Yeah,
it was a shootout. It was a shootout between Stafford and Cousins, and that was where Marvin Jones got 4 touchdowns. But Stafford's not there, and Driscoll's not there, and now it's Blau. And Blau, started off good last week.
Yeah,
he started off good at home, and then kind of fizzled. And so then he's going to go on the road for what I guess is his first ever road start, unless we're counting I know he played some during the preseason or whatever, but so that kind of worries me. It kind of worries me that Cousins, he wouldn't have any trouble throwing on that Detroit defense, but I wonder if they can just run it, and maybe Blau doesn't handle the pressure well in his first road start. Those are all good options: Tannehill, Fitzpatrick, Cousins.
Yeah.
I think game script scares me a little bit more for Cousins this week though than it does the other two. So
yeah, I'm not feeling good about that game. I just can't get a feel.
Yeah.
It just feels so wonky.
Wait, which one are you specifically talking about here?
Detroit, Minnesota.
Minnesota. Yeah. Really? Yeah, I think it could get out of control, as far or too, like you're saying, too under control, where it's just they know they can beat. Unless Blau comes out just tossing it, man, and Galladay gets another 2 touchdowns,
right.
Well, I don't know though.
Yeah. The reason why I'm saying Cousins is because they've just given up so many yards to quarterbacks and so many touchdowns over the past few weeks, because they gave up, they gave up 4 to Daniel Jones, then 2 to Oakland, then 3 to Trubisky twice, and then also gave up 3 to the Cowboys. And yeah, they had the Dwayne Haskins game, but I find it hard that Kirk Cousins won't get at least I feel like he's going to get at least 2 touchdowns. Even if he doesn't get a ton of yards, I feel like he's going to have at least a decent game. Crypto E says he was going to start Tannehill over Fitzpatrick, but then decided the Jets D is going to be much easier than the Raiders defense at home.
That's a good point.
Potentially, yeah. I mean, the Raiders
pass. What do you call it? Rush.
Yeah. I don't know that. I feel like Tannehill is the safest play.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know if he's going to have the most points, but I feel like he has the best floor because for Cousins, just the reasons that I mentioned with game script, nothing to do with him or the opponent. Just really, I think it's possible that the Vikings can just run that game away. Fitzpatrick, he does have, I think, maybe a little bit better matchup, but it's also Fitzpatrick. And so you don't know when the game is going to come that he, throws a touchdown and 4 interceptions. So I feel like Tannehill, the way he's been playing, it is probably has the safest floor. But it's really kind of tough to parse those out. I'm curious to see while we're talking just how the Yahoo ranks have them. But yeah. Go ahead.
So the other one I'm really seriously thinking. So who is Miles Jacks? Is that who it is?
Miles Jack,
Jack, yeah, put an IR for the Bengals, not the Bengals, the Jaguars. And that run defense, that defensive line was already not very good. I kind of want to just use all the Chargers.
Yeah,
I feel like they're gonna crush them.
Well, it's I've seen a couple of things saying, a couple of articles saying like expect the old Melvin Gordon to come back this week. So
absolutely, I'm playing him DFS. Like
people
got him. What do you think, Matt?
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say yeah. So people are definitely on that train.
What about Rivers though? I'm thinking Rivers could be.
No, not for me. Not for me. I'm not risking that.
So much of a risk.
This could be you're willing to go with Fitzpumpkin, but not Rivers.
Yes.
Because he's done well.
There's only one good time to play Fitzpatrick. Last week. Every time you want to play Fitzpatrick, the only time that was good to play him was last week. Like every time you play him, he's gonna give you a pumpkin.
Yeah, but sure, even though let's say Fitzpatrick, I don't pick up him, there's probably still Tannehill out there, or there's probably still, and maybe like depending on how small your league is, Baker Mayfield out there, who I'd rather take over Rivers because I know they're gonna get points.
No, I think they're gonna get points, but I'm worried about his injury.
Who, Baker?
Baker Mayfield.
What about Tannehill then? He's owned in less than half of leagues.
Yeah, I know. That's who I picked up. But I like Rivers.
So yeah, in the Yahoo ranks, Tannehill and Cousins are 10 and 11 in that order. And then they actually don't really have. They've got Fitzpatrick all the way down at 19, which I guess that's probably. I guess that's based on his, like you said, like his tendency to turn into a pumpkin, as opposed to like, because it's not based on what he's done lately, and it's not based on the matchup. So, yeah, I don't know.
Well, it kind of is based on the matchup, because since Miami last 4 weeks has really been like, their defense has been a lot stouter.
Also, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I still like Sam Darnold at home.
Yeah,
he can play at home. It's just it's a weird, like really strong split there.
You've said it multiple times. He's the Big Ben of the AFC North.
Yeah, I considered Sam.
AFC East. My bad.
Yeah, I he's on the waiver wire. I thought about picking him up.
Yeah, I think Sam's trustable, but
I wouldn't call him trustable
for 1 week. And like in the playoffs, like next week,
in the playoffs with him right now.
Well, next week he goes to Baltimore, and
oh boy,
no, I'm not playing then.
Crypto E brings up a good point. These are the last 2 games that the Raiders are ever playing in Oakland.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. So they're at home.
Yeah, for their last 2 games.
So what about this? Here's a good start sit.
Hold on. Moment of silence for the Oakland Raiders.
Okay. Why?
Because they're moving to Vegas.
I mean, they started in
Los Angeles, which is still in California. They're moving out of Oakland. Has some of the most die-hard fans in the NFL.
They do.
Is crazy. So moving to Vegas that's killing Oakland. So yes, I'm very sorry for them.
What do you guys think about starting Eli Manning?
No.
This week? Come on.
Absolutely.
Come on.
No. Don't do
if you are here's where you start Eli Manning. Here's where you start Eli. You start him in a league where you are out of it, and you just want to be able to like screen cap it for your friends. Be like, I started Eli Manning this week. and it's a no lose situation because
yes,
if you're out, I mean, number one, you're out of it. Number two, you can just say like, oh yeah, this is how much I respect Eli Manning. I've always appreciated his game. Sure, he gave me negative 4.32 points, but he deserves that kind of respect. Or miracle of all miracles happens and he balls out and you're going to be like, I had the foresight to start Eli Manning. So,
yes.
Like, what? Why are you so down on him? What do you like?
Because it's Eli Manning?
Eli Manning has had like 5 touchdown games before.
Yes,
like
5 years ago.
Last year.
Games. It's okay. He's like the worst version of Jameis Winston because Jameis Winston could throw 4 interceptions, but he's also going to get like 3 touchdowns in a game, or he could get 3 touchdowns and 2 interceptions in a game. Either way, you're bound to get some points. Eli could throw 5 touchdowns against the worst defense in the league, or he could throw 7 interceptions against the next to worst defense in the league.
I'll take Eli and Rivers against any 2 guys you give me.
Oh, please.
What are you talking about?
Like on the waiver wire.
I mean,
is this even worth making a bet on?
But again, though, we've discussed like the options on the waiver wire, like Tannehill and Cousins, and you would take them over like those guys.
Yeah.
I
think Rivers is going to have a big game, and Eli, I don't know, he could.
I'm looking back to see what he did last year, because I mean, seriously, like 2016 or 17 is the last time. Yeah. I mean, I remember him doing.
He had a couple of real big games last year.
He had a couple big games last year.
So he never had in two games out of last season he threw more than 2 touchdowns, and in those 2 where he threw 3 touchdowns, he did not throw for 200 yards.
Wow.
So that is why I am not big on Eli Manning, because he hasn't done anything since at least 2017.
Well, Crypto E does make a good point that he kind of needs to do well, because otherwise he might be out of circulation.
Oh, I think he will be.
Oh, wow.
You think he's going to retire?
I think it's a done deal.
Like, why wouldn't he have already retired by now?
Yeah, he's won 2 Super Bowls. He's probably going to be a Hall of Famer.
Well, I mean, one, everybody values things differently. I mean, he's got tons of money, but I mean, maybe he's like, yeah, I would like a little more money. Or maybe he just wants to be around the team. And, like a lot of athletes don't know what to do after they hang it up. And so as long as somebody's willing to keep him in there, maybe, he's willing to do that. But I mean, seriously, who out of the entire NFL would make him a starting quarterback next year?
I mean, nobody.
Right.
But, yeah.
Desperate Cincinnati after Andy Dalton and Ryan Finley both get injured.
I mean, I'm trying to think like,
Dalton does usually get injured right about this time.
Well, I'm just thinking of like, is there a scenario where no one has anyone else, like they draft a young quarterback and they don't have anyone else to like come in and like play ahead of them and tutor them? But like, again, how is Eli going to be your best option there? There's somebody else out there. So I can't, it's hard for me to imagine him going somewhere else after this year.
I'm actually very surprised. Like, the question wasn't rhetorical. Like, why hasn't he retired yet? Like, why put yourself through the indignity of backing up this young whippersnapper Jones and coming in, like it just feels like now he's on the bench and he's coming in the last 30 seconds of the game, a basketball game or something,
Yeah.
It's like, retire, man. What do you have to stay in the league for?
Yeah.
Well, Judah Boot is with Crypto EE for you playing Eli in DFS, so we'll see how that works out. We'll see.
Eli Manning, Rivers. What's his first name?
Philip.
Eli Manning and Philip Rivers.
Okay.
But I mean, I don't know if I have the stones to actually play them. But
that's a good litmus test of like how serious you really are. About, like anybody can be like, oh no, but are you going to put them in your lineup?
Okay.
But like I just feel like they're going to go off this week.
And I just got a notification that Evan Ingram is again out for this week.
Yeah, I dropped him a couple weeks ago in a couple of leagues. He's just
I don't want to drop him because he's got the Dolphins next week, and I don't want someone playing him against me. But
even when he was healthy, he wasn't that great. Like he was good for like 1 week.
Yeah, well, and especially like I won't play him because the Giants, assuming that Sterling Shepard doesn't get hurt again or something, then the Giants are going to have the full complement of their weapons next week. In theory, Slayton, Shepard, Tate, Barkley, if Ingram comes back. So like really where Ingram has made his fantasy contributions have been when a bunch of those guys have been out. So.
Yeah, I just went back to check Evan Ingram's stats because I'm for some reason still holding on to him in one league and have for like the last 7 weeks. And I just realized that he has had only 3 good games all year.
Yeah,
I'm surprised he had 3.
Well, at the beginning of the year, Tate was suspended. Yeah. Shepard was hurt. And so it was basically just like, Slayton was a rookie. It was basically just him in that passing game. And that's where, like, if you look at the split between his numbers in past years where like OBJ was in and guys like that were in, he does almost nothing. I mean, maybe I only have him in 1 or 2 leagues and I probably should drop him just to see if somebody will play him against me because when they have all their weapons in, he rarely, it's like, 40 yards and no touchdown. Yeah. So, he like, I wish I've seen graphics before of like, what he's done without the Giants weapons in there versus with them. And it's just, it's, night and day.
Crypto E says that Eli and Shepard have a good DFS stack and very few people will play them and they have history and connections. Judah Buddha, were a Sterling Shepard fan.
I am. I've always been. He's a skilled guy, talented guy. Yeah, I'm actually considering doing a little bit of stacking of the. Who are they playing? They're playing
in Philly Monday night.
In Philly, nah.
Yeah. That's the thing. The Eagles' defense has gotten better.
And it's in Philadelphia. It's hard to win in Philly.
Yeah, it is. Do you guys have any more start sits? Because I got a couple.
I have one that I've just been kind of mulling over on whether I actually am serious about starting him or not. But it's DJ Chark's back. And he's playing the Chargers, who have a good pass defense. And last week, they frustrated me to Kingdom Come against Tampa Bay, and he put up 4 points. So would you guys still start him, you think, even though he's did nothing last week? I mean, I know Minshew's back, but the Chargers have a good defense.
What are your other options?
Yeah, which league am I talking about? Hold up.
Because while you're looking at that, the thing is, I think what we've seen, like whenever we say it's Chark week, he has a good matchup. It ends up not being. He plays better against tougher matchups.
Yeah, I've pretty much got I've got Joe Mixon. That's the person I would switch him out with. I've got Joe Mixon on the bench for a flex spot.
That's Judah's guy. I can't believe he's not jumping right in on that.
Yeah,
I probably play Mixon. I always like playing the running backs.
Yeah, I tend to do that because they're going to get carries, whereas with receivers you don't know what their target share is going to be.
Yeah,
unless it's like slam spot, but like Minshew might just get like thrown to the ground the whole game. I don't know.
Yeah,
that Jacksonville situation suddenly got pretty complicated with him and Foles, and
Foles might come in. And, I don't know what can happen.
Yeah.
Josh Twenters here. He says, "Who would you start in standard scoring? Bell is sick and might be out. Powell versus Miami. Singletary against Baltimore. Every time I see that makes me cringe. Yeah. And Marlon Mack against Tampa Bay. coming off a broken hand. Also an option of Madison, hoping Cook goes down versus Detroit.
Jared and I were talking about the Madison Cook thing earlier.
But as like that was more for me like as a DFS play.
Yeah.
You've got some decent choices here.
Yeah, I mean, that's tough, though, because, I mean, normally, like, I would say Singletary, Mac, easy, because Madison's playing second fiddle, and, I mean, Powell, he hasn't done much, but Singletary's going up against the Baltimore, one of the best defenses in the league, if not the best, and Mac's playing Tampa Bay, who have a tough run defense.
They really do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I guess I'm not sure if does Josh also have Bell, or is he? Well, he says Bell is sick and might not play, so I wasn't sure if that meant that he had picked up Powell just in case, even though he doesn't have Bell. If you have Bell, I think he plays. Like, it's just like illness, and I can't remember the last time that a player sat out with illness. You know,
I agree, but there's a sense. I don't know if it's just the echo chamber. But there is a sense that he's not going to play for some reason.
Really?
Yeah. There's a lot of people that are worried about him playing, which surprised me. I had him in DFS in my lineup everywhere. And all of a sudden I'm like, I switched him out for, who did I switch him out for? For Melvin Gordon.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. And yeah, that's a good point. Adam Gase is not 100% on Le'Veon's status.
Adam Gase might have been high when he said that. Who knows?
Ouch.
We've seen what his press conferences look like.
Look, Adam Gase, you can get trashed by as many people as you want, but what you did in Chicago, I will never forget. So I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Was that when he won you guys the Super Bowl?
What?
Is that when he won you guys the Super Bowl?
No, our offense was like the best it had been in years, and then he went to Miami and left us in the dust.
I think he was taking a dig.
Yeah, it didn't work.
Let's see.
It worked.
Let's see what the latest is on Le'Veon Bell. See if Twitter tells us anything.
I think he probably plays, and I might even switch him back in for not for Melvin Gordon, but switch him back in my lineups because it does seem like people are worried he's not going to play, and I guess like I didn't understand what that was, but I have a feeling it's because his sickness is more than just like he's got the runs. Like it seems like he's sick. Yeah, Crypto says he might be really sick, and like so what if he has mono? You know,
well, if he had mono, they would have
identified that.
They would have shut him down. I mean, it could be like a bad flu though. Yeah. So, I don't know.
It's been a lot of sickness. Correct me if I'm wrong, but like, has there ever been this much like?
I don't remember it.
I don't know.
Injury sickness.
I don't remember it. It seems like this year, because I mean the whole thing with the Patriots taking 2 planes. And there's been a lot.
The Jets, the Tampa Bay, the Buccaneers, they had like a big sickness thing at the beginning of the year. It's just been weird. Did you find anything?
No, just still saying like unsure if he plays. So.
Well, while we're unsure about Bell, what do you guys think about Mac against Tampa? Like Josh was asking.
Yeah, I don't like him. There's a lot of problems there.
Here's the Colts fan. You can trust this guy for this one for sure.
Well, yeah, I mean, just the Colts offense in general is missing a lot. You know, T.Y. Hilton's out again. They're not sure if or when he's coming back this season. Tampa's been playing better lately. You know, last week they just used and abused Nick Foles and the Jaguars. And so if they get up on the Colts too, like, I mean, Mac isn't really like a receiving back, you know? So, there are just way too many red flags there for me to play Mac this week.
Agreed.
So for Josh though, he's got Powell and Madison, if not Singletary and Mac.
I probably would go Powell, I guess.
Really?
Either Powell or Singletary. I mean, Singletary is at least at home, but
yeah,
I mean, just seeing what. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just don't feel great. I mean, like, Baltimore can be run on. I mean, like last week, Raheem Mostert.
Yeah.
He had a pretty good game in there for San Francisco, but San Francisco's got a really good running scheme.
Well, and they have a really good offensive line, but the Bills have a pretty good offensive line as well.
Yeah, but too, like with Singletary, like the inconsistency of his touches scare me a little bit. Like,
that's the part that is like,
like if he was just going to get like a full, if I knew like, okay, he's going to get a full load, he's going to get,
23 touches or whatever.
I mean, 17, if you told me 17, like, okay, but I mean, like last week in that win against Dallas, I mean, the last 3 games, he's had 14, 21, 15, and then, but then like, so the last
Who do you
game,
have 21 against?
Denver.
That's a similar.
They have a good defense,
somewhat, but it's a similar defense, but it's not a similar offense. And the Ravens can score, points on them. So the last game where, so in the 2 games that they've lost where they've been trailing, so you got to consider that, there's a good chance it's the Ravens. There's a good chance they'll be trailing. Singletary has had 8 and 3 carries.
Eesh.
So that's what scares me there.
I don't know though. I think I don't think it's going to be a blowout.
Well, you're the Singletary fan, so
yeah. I mean, I'm not saying it'll be a blowout, but like in that Cleveland game, it was pretty close. They lost 19-16, and he only had 8 touches or 8 carries. So scares me.
Wait, which week was that? The last time that happened?
That was like a month ago almost. That was week 10.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so he probably was starter by then. Okay,
he was because it was that game before where he got 20 against Washington, and so then we're like, oh, Singletary, this is now it's
a real thing.
They've made the switch to him. He's going to be full speed ahead, and then we're back to 8 carries. So.
Yeah. Well, so for Josh, Powell, Singletary, Mack, option of Madison. What do you think? Standard scoring. Or Bell, even though he might be out.
Just hang on to Bell and put Powell. Like hang on to Bell and Powell, and if Bell's out, put Powell in.
Yeah, and I would double check too right before the game to make sure that they're not saying it's gonna like, oh no, they've made Ty Montgomery the starter or something, because that would be really the thing that would scare me more about the Powell situation is not knowing exactly how that's going to break down between him and Ty Montgomery.
So assuming Bell goes out, do you go Powell Singletary then?
He just needs
one. He needs 2?
He said who would you start in standard scoring? So standard league, I'm assuming 2 running backs.
If he needs 2, then I'd say Powell Singletary.
It's tough because if he's in the playoffs, like if he's not in the playoffs and he doesn't like.
Well, unless it's week 14, not all leagues have.
Yeah, that's true. But Madison, like I'm really considering playing Madison in season long.
I couldn't take that risk unless I don't think
Cook goes out. If Cook goes down, then Madison. But
I mean, like we were saying earlier, Jared, like Madison has gotten you plenty of fantasy points even when Cook was healthy.
I don't know if plenty is the right word. He's had 2 really solid weeks that I would say he's like definitely startable, and they were both 11. And everything else has been sub.
And he was the backup.
Yeah, he's had a couple good ones. Yeah, a couple good games, by the way. Yeah, 2. But other than that, he could get 13 carries or he could get 3. That's the thing with Madison. If Cook is there, he could get a good share of the carries or he could get next to nothing.
No, I think either way he gets a lot of the carries. Like I think either way he's going to split them with Cook.
He hasn't had 13. He hasn't had more than 10 carries since week 8.
Yes, but
and then other than that, it's been 8 or under. Right. So I'm saying if Cook is healthy, then I don't like Madison. He's not. He's cleared. He's medically healthy, which I know
he's not healthy.
Code word for he's not 100%, but he's playing. That's the thing that worries me. Unless
he's not gonna get a full load.
But I wouldn't start Madison.
I
wouldn't start him. But so he says he's playoffs 1 seed and he's got Chubb, so he needs one more.
So he just needs one.
Yeah,
I think Chubb's gonna have a huge game
out of Georgia.
So if we don't have another question at the moment, just on a related running back note, like how worried are you about Josh Jacobs?
That's my other one.
Oh boy.
I'm on a 1 to 10 scale. I'm a 7. I'm a 8. I'm starting to really worry about him. Yeah. He's got a broken shoulder or something.
Fractured shoulder. Yeah.
What about you? Are you gonna start him?
I mean, this week because it doesn't. Again, most of the leagues I have him in, it doesn't really matter. But next week, next week's going to be shaky because, and of course, like some teams I've got great running back depth, and then of course the ones where I have him, like I've got like 2 really good running backs and a couple of like solid guys, but not like guys that you'd be like, oh yeah, you could just plug him in for Jacobs and get the same production if both are. If both were healthy. So
yeah. I've got like I could plug in Snell, LaShawn McCoy. I mean, man, dude, I need to win this week too.
Yeah. Snell, actually, while we're on that topic, like I think Snell could be a good play this week.
Would you play him for Jacobs?
I'm probably not going to start him over him.
I mean, I'm saying if Jacobs is out, that would be.
If Jacobs was out, I would feel okay about slotting him in there. Really, like the scary part is
what if he's in?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I mean, even too, just like with not knowing exactly, like Snell has gotten, I think, like 20 and 16 touches or something like that, but you don't know for sure. Like, what if they decide to go back to Jalen Samuels? Because I mean, nobody knew. We thought Jalen Samuels was going to be the guy, and then all of a sudden we went back to him.
But it seems like even when they went to Jalen Samuels, they went to him in a passing capacity, right?
Yeah,
it was more passing.
Yeah. So, but you don't know exactly what game script's going to be and stuff like that. It's really going to be interesting next week if Connor is still out with Buffalo in the semis. Because Buffalo's not a tough run, not a terribly tough run defense, but overall a pretty good team. So one of my leagues, someone just dropped Connor. Like I guess they didn't have, and it was
surprising.
Well, it was surprising because it was the second place team.
Oh,
so like the second place team dropped him and the third place team picked him up. Like I'm in 4th in that league.
Oh boy.
But I've qualified for the playoffs. But I was like, man, that's really, I wouldn't drop him to risk someone else getting him. Cause I think they didn't really, I got to look back and see, but I think they didn't really like pick up anyone really that they should have dropped James Conner for, so a lot of times it's about playing keep away. And let's see here. Where did he drop him at? I'm really curious to go back and look and see who he actually dropped him for here.
I mean, I would be hard pressed not to. Well, yeah, but if you're just picking up some schmo, but why didn't he just put him on IR?
Well, I've got to look and see, but he probably had somebody else.
Who? There's nobody worth keeping.
Devin Funchess. No, I'm kidding.
Where is
I guess if he had like Hooper on IR at the time.
Yeah. And then also the Patriots defense got dropped in that league and I picked him up. So
but see, both of those are like, that's kind of, that might be like,
what? He dropped him for Curtis Samuel.
What?
What are you doing, dude? And let's see I want to see what his receivers are now. Like this is becoming a fascinating little rabbit trail for me here. But
for you.
My goodness.
But this is so the guy, so the guy he's going to be playing in the first round, like if Connor comes back, he's going to be playing him against him,
Maybe he doesn't think that Connor's coming back because Connor may not come back.
Yeah, because he has been out, almost 5 straight weeks, except the one time he got like 20 yards and then went out again.
He's got no one on IR. He could have just
put him on IR. Well, he wasn't eligible for IR at the time.
He wasn't eligible, but I mean,
still.
like
he could have waited and then put him when he goes out.
Yeah. This is strange.
Anyway, real quick before we get to Crypto E's thing, I believe Josh, I don't know if we gave him a full answer. So Powell, Singletary, Mack, Madison, who are you starting? Choose one.
If Bell's out and they don't say something about Ty Montgomery expected to get the bulk of the carries, then I would go Powell.
Judah Buddha, what do you think?
I'll put Singletary in. Singletary and
he's got Chubb.
Yeah, I'd put. Oh, so he just needs one.
He just needs one.
Yeah, I put Singletary instead of Bell. Maybe Powell. They're kind of at the same level for me.
All right, Crypto E. We're going to first time we've ever made a lineup. So here we go. Help him with his lineup. He's got Fitzpatrick, Carson, Miles Sanders, Julio, Reek the Freak, Kittle, and Kelsey. Packers D, Crosby at kicker, Eckler, Metcalf, Robbie, Washington, Madison, and the Ravens defense. What do you got feelings on this, guys?
Definitely play Ravens D.
Go back to the starters again.
Yeah, there you go. Over the Packers against Washington.
Packers have a pretty good matchup against Washington. They're not as good, but of course Josh Allen does turn the ball over a lot, and Buffalo really has no number one wide receiver to throw to. So.
Yes, they do. Sam Brown.
I was waiting for that.
I mean that's a good little starting lineup there.
I think I'd be. Oh, so about Sanders, did you see that Jordan Howard is probably going to play this weekend?
Really? The last thing I saw said that he probably wasn't.
He's officially questionable and expected to miss week 14.
No, like if you go to RotoWorld.
That was today.
RotoWorld
from
says,
RotoWorld.
RotoWorld's liars.
I don't know. So even your source says he's out.
This is what it says.
What?
The Athletics, Zach Berman. Oh, doesn't expect. Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
I was just reading it wrong. He's not gonna play.
That in apostrophe T.
I don't do the reading so well. So I would definitely then, if he's out, then Sanders, Julio, Hill. So the only one I wouldn't play is Kelsey.
I saw that coming.
Let me tell you why. In games against Belichick has, instead of, he always takes away your best guy. Instead of trying to take away Hill, which is almost impossible because it's just, you don't know where he's going to be. He's super fast. It's just hard to take someone like that away. He's taken out Kelsey. Every game against the Patriots, Kelsey has had like single-digit fantasy points. Hard to trust in this situation. Kittle's going to smash.
Well, but he's probably I assume he's playing Kelsey then in flex.
Yeah,
I think so.
So,
but I mean,
so I guess Eckler then, because Eckler is on his bench.
Yeah, man, I'd play some Eckler.
Is this, if you
PPR?
could let us know if this is standard PPR at half point too?
If this is PPR, I think Eckler would be a good play.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
What are you thinking? Jay?
Yeah, it's a tough. Like I never feel good about playing players against the Patriots. If he had better options, I'd say just bench Tyreek and Kelsey both. But he doesn't really. I don't think he has a. Can you go back to his bench again? I don't think he's got really another.
There you go.
Like for who? Washington, Metcalf, maybe.
Metcalf, maybe. Yeah, it's.
And he says Kelsey is in his flex right now, and it's PPR.
Yeah, I put Eckler in for. I think he's got a good starting lineup. Just put Eckler in for Kelsey.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like. I mean, I know that, like we were saying, that playing the Patriots not a great matchup, but I kind of like Reek the Freak just because he's Tyreek Hill, and I think if anyone's probably going to get a touchdown, if Judah Buddha's prediction is correct, they take out Kelsey. That pretty much leaves Tyreek to get the other touchdown. So, and I just always have a bad feeling about playing two tight ends in the same league. One of my friends picked up drafted Ertz and Kelsey. That has not worked out for him, and he tried to play double tight ends. So I don't like playing double tight ends like ever, just because they have a bigger chance to get 4. I feel like than
their ceiling is capped. The tight ends typically don't like blow up.
Yeah, that too. But then also, I mean, with the exception of Kittle and Kelsey, you could also get like 4 out of them too. When getting a running back, you typically get like at least 8. So even though Kittle, I like Kittle and I love Kelsey, I would switch out Eckler, especially because it's PPR. Jacksonville is not going to have Miles Jack. I think Gordon and Eckler are both going to do well this week. I like them both. So I would switch out Eckler and Kelsey there.
Who's Carson? Chris Carson, the running back.
Oh yeah,
that's interesting. He'd be fine.
Yeah. Yes.
It is worrisome though, like if he's splitting carries with.
Yeah, but that seems to me more of like a symbiotic relationship because it seems like the Seahawks now are like a running team for sure.
They always have been, yeah.
Well, I mean, yes, with the exception of Marshawn Lynch, yeah, but Russell Wilson was still like when it came down to third, fourth quarter, second half, Russell's still taking the lead. Now it's like Carson and Penny are almost like they have a 3. How do I want to put this? They have like a workload share between them on who's leading the team now because Carson and Penny are just
they're
taking over. They're doing incredibly well, especially we saw last.
Who they play?
I like Carson.
The Rams.
Oh yeah, that should be fun.
Yeah. Yeah, so Crypto Jared, listen to your friend, swap out Kelsey and Eckler. There you go. That's our advice.
You know Crypto?
No, he said his friend said don't play Kelsey too.
What? Jared, what do you're mulling the Tyreek Hill?
Yeah, I guess I would leave him in. If he had a slightly better option, I would say swap him out, but I don't know how much I trust Metcalf, considering how much the Seahawks are running it.
Yeah. I mean, Washington may be a decent play.
But the other thing too, though, is just Tyreek Hill is a speedster, and so he is a little bit different. I think he has a better chance to get open against some of that coverage, but they held Amari Cooper to nothing.
Don't get me started on that, please.
DeAndre Hopkins had almost nothing until like the last series or two, where he got a couple of catches and then threw a touchdown pass. Just number one wide receivers scare me against the Patriots.
You know who could be in for a huge game?
Not Sammy Watkins. No.
This is just like Sammy Watkins. This is just like
Demetrius Robinson or Mecole Hardman. That's the thing with.
I think I could see Sammy going off. I'm seriously considering him in DFS.
Yeah, actually, I could see that. Not because he's good. He is good. He's not really that good.
You have to remember when Sammy Watkins put up 37 points in week 1 and everyone picked him up.
Yeah.
Picked him up.
And then has he had a touchdown? Has he had a touchdown since then?
No.
But
this is exactly when he would go off.
Yeah, because the Patriots will guard everyone else. They'll shut down the run, they'll try to stop Kelsey, and they'll
limit
try to limit Hill, and it will just be like Sammy Watkins left to get open. No, I agree with you.
I don't know. I kind of like, if I was choosing a Chiefs wide receiver. Yes, Watkins is the most consistent targets, but what about Sammy Watkins though? Not Sammy Watkins. Sorry, Mecole Hardman though.
He's like the backup.
He's like Tyreek Hill, the second Tyreek Hill on the Chiefs. He's nearly as fast. He plays almost the same kind of style. He just
I mean, he could, but he's not going to get the snaps. The only time he gets the snaps when Tyreek is out. I mean, exactly like you said.
But he still gets some more touchdowns comparatively speaking to Sammy Watkins. He's got touchdowns than Sammy. If we're excluding game one, where he put up 30
Sammy has 0 since week 1, that's not a very high bar.
Meanwhile, Mecole had 5.
Yeah.
Or I could see it being. I know he hasn't like done anything in a while, but I could also see like Demarcus Robinson resurfacing for for a touchdown and a long pass or something like that.
And that's the thing that scares me about the Chiefs offense, because they have so many weapons. It's almost like you've got Mahomes and you've got, I mean, typically Kelsey, but New England. But let's just say throw him in with the rest of the wide receiver core. You might as well just spin the wheel of receivers and pick whichever one of the 6 you find for a touchdown.
They may all get touchdowns. I really think they're going to smash the Patriots.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know about smash the Patriots. They haven't been doing as well. I'll say that for sure. But
hey, maybe this is a good time to plug the old
merch.
Oh, please. Go ahead.
I'll be right back. I'm getting coffee while you do that.
What's it called? Crypto said we should enable donations. You'd give us a couple bucks for the advice.
Hey, don't you can give us donations, but you know what? A better way would be.
Oh boy. Nice segue.
Shirts.
I like it.
Come on and come over to RotoHackers on Teespring, and here is a little bit modified. This is our original, like 3 years ago when AJ Herschel and Judah Buddha started this little thing.
Yep.
Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit. We started as the RotoHackers. The idea was somebody on the computer looking at stats with football for a brain. And so we got variations on that, but we also have, and if I can find it, so we have different colors. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
And let me zoom in a little bit.
That's better.
I actually, my favorite is that orange. Like, isn't that nice?
Really? That's kind of nice. It looks like a Illinois Illini one, honestly.
I like this one too. We also have. I can't see this. It's not in the storefront. Let's see, store. Oh yeah. So look at this. I actually ordered the hoodie. I got it. I'm gonna have to give it to your brother or something. I forgot to. They just have small in. I forgot to change it to X large. So. I have this hoodie, a small. If anybody wants it.
Good to know. I'll see who's available.
Up for grabs.
Yeah, Crypto does say, by the way, he'd rather donate and get a shirt because he has too many shirts. I can understand that.
Well, plus, like anything, like if we do any kind of monetization or something like that, I think the question is like, do we open ourselves up to like a class action lawsuit against Judah for recommending people bench Derrick Henry so much? Or
yes.
Maybe that's not legally how it works.
That's a good point. So yeah, that's a good point. Maybe Judah Buddha maybe we could do that after the episode. Activate donations. Maybe
we can't.
On
no,
YouTube. We can't.
No, if you want to bring more subscribers, we gotta have like 1,000 subscribers.
Oh, seriously? Are you serious?
Oh, gosh.
Oh man, that hurts. YouTube. That hurts.
Yeah.
I'll just give people my address and they can mail check.
Hey, buy a shirt and give it away. Throw it away. I don't care. That's a good way to do it.
Christmas present.
We actually don't.
Christmas present.
Yeah.
That's definitely like an. That's definitely like an unboxing video. Like just giving someone who has no idea who the hell we are one of these shirts, and just like seeing them open it up and being like, "What?"
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
That does beg a good point. We get to 100 views. We're on an episode. We're giving away 3 free shirts.
One of them is a small hoodie.
Maybe that'll be the
like
extra giveaway.
It's like a dog small too. Like he accidentally ordered like a pet hoodie.
Dude, like, you know, the funny part is, it's not funny. It's just pathetic Judah stuff. But I like got it and I went back online. I was like, I better order another one. And I did the same thing. I had to go in and cancel the order.
Do you have the small sweater with you? Right now,
it's over at my house. I should have brought it.
Bring it on Tuesday and we can see it live and in color.
I'll bring it.
Oh boy. Well, getting back to fantasy football related things, Jared, you haven't given everyone's drinking something right now.
Drink.
Okay. Jared, you haven't given any, I don't think you've given any personal stardom sit-ems. You got any for us?
He did. He said Jacobs.
Oh yeah. Well,
that wasn't really. That was really kind of meant to be more of the kind of injury talk about him.
Yeah.
I think if you are in a deeper league, you could take a risk on a couple of Colts, maybe Jack Doyle.
Yeah,
the tight end who had a good week last week. It's sketchy. It's tough to trust Jacoby Brissett at quarterback there, but they're playing Tampa. They're not going to be able to run much, and Jacoby is scared to throw the ball down the field. T.Y. Hilton is out, so they can't really throw it down the field anyway. Doyle had 11 targets last week. 6 catches, 73 yards, and a touchdown. It's just pretty much like him and Zach Pascal. So Pascal is the other one. Like if you're really desperate at wide receiver, but that one's a little bit shakier because I've picked up Pascal after he's had a good game, and then he's done absolutely nothing.
Well, and Paris Campbell is coming back this weekend. Paris Campbell.
He is?
Yeah.
Is he?
I knew he was. I think he is most likely to play. So that makes the wide receiver situation a little bit more. Yeah, he's got the little questionable tag off of him. That's going to be interesting. That's going to be interesting. I mean, and I don't know if you're really desperate and you want to roll the dice on Paris Campbell, you can always try that, but these are like deeper.
Yeah, how many teams in the league do we have here? 18.
You probably have to have.
I don't know. Paris Campbell got a lot of catches when he was in that last game.
Well, he got he got several, but
that was a while ago, though. He got 5. He got 5 targets and 5 catches this last game.
Yeah. With him and Pascal both back, that makes it a little bit muddier at wide receiver. I'll stick to my Doyle.
Yeah, I like that.
Recommendation.
I like that a lot.
I think you could also another tight end possibility. Maybe if you're an Evan Ingram owner who had been counting on Evan Ingram, I don't know how many people are still relying on him or expecting him to come back. But I mentioned him. Mentioned this guy. I think last week or maybe it was on the Tuesday podcast is Tyler Higbee. Rams, who
is Everett still out?
I believe he's still out. I believe he's already
out.
Yeah, he's already ruled out for this week. So, Seattle is not good against tight ends either. They're not as bad as Arizona, but they're second worst. So,
that's a good point.
Yeah, I think that's another opportunity for Higbee there.
I love the Jack Doyle pick. I'll go ahead and say that. I picked him up last week, and he gifted me a 10-plus game, and I was very happy about that. I like him. I like that pick a lot. I'll say that for sure. Doyle, I am all in on. Judah Buddha, what do you think?
Yeah. I mean, the only thing I worry about is they both had big games last week. I just regression, but it is true that the matchups are pretty good.
Yeah. And the last time the Rams played Seattle, that was when Gerald Everett got 11 targets.
And Higbee, even with Everett in that
he's
game,
always gotten
Higbee against them had
7.
40.
Wait, no, sorry.
He had 47 yards. He only had 3 targets, but he caught all 3 for 47 yards. So
I think it's smash play.
Yeah.
That's good, but I don't think you're going to find him on the waiver wire. Are you just talking about
really?
Higbee is all over my waiver wires.
Really?
What percentage he's
actually
actually
17% owned.
He's only 17% owned. Yeah, nobody.
Oh, he needs to be owned more than that. Yeah, that's a good call.
Yeah, I'm surprised he's not more owned than that. Doyle's like 73% owned.
Yeah.
Do you think it's because of his name, Higbee? Like he just seems like an Englishman who's drinking tea. Higbee.
No, I think it's more of the fact that like if you're looking at like at this point, especially in deeper leagues, like with tight ends, it's just like whoever's left. So I mean, yeah, do I think Higbee's a great play? For sure. Is he going to be super high when you look up, points over the year, this over the year? He's not going to be high because he hasn't had that many big games because Everett's been there. So I think part of it is just due to not necessarily his name is Higbee, but because there's other people in front of him who have done more over the course of the year, even though he had a great game last year.
No, I think it's because of his name.
Well, the other thing too is like I think with that Rams offense, people think like, he's going to be all the way down because you've got Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods and Brandon Cooks, and Todd Gurley, but you might as well eliminate Brandon Cooks from that equation because he's not getting thrown to anymore, and so then it just kind of becomes a lot of these sort of short passes to Kupp and Higbee and Woods. And so,
hey, here's some inside information. Cooks is going to go off this weekend because I dropped him. So,
okay.
That explains it.
Every time, like I dropped him. So this weekend, he's just going to go nuts.
It does beg a good question, though. I mean, Seattle, they have a good defense. So is Cooper Kupp worth starting this week? I mean, he's not that Kupp, but I mean, they're all right. But
they were tenacious last Monday, man. Like I wouldn't have wanted to play Cooper Kupp against that defense.
But the thing is that like, Seattle, they're fine against the pass, but are we going to see Jared Goff coming out slinging or Jared Goff who can't hit Gurley on a dump off? That's the question.
It's interesting because he's not done well. Goff hasn't done well, but like in that Seattle game, like you remember what a shootout that was? Like I think that was it was either a Sunday or Monday night game.
It was Monday night, yeah.
It was that was a fun one.
And so he ended up with he only ended up with 1 touchdown, but he had 395 yards. So I would not want to trust Goff this week. Like last week, I said, yeah, you could play him. But I don't know. Well, and here's the funny thing too, is Goff, and I guess there's maybe a lot of deeper leagues in Yahoo because Goff is 70% owned.
Wow.
70% owned.
70% owned.
Name value.
I guess so.
Name value. Because I mean, if you think about it, like Jared Goff, what do you think? You think about Jared Goff. Oh, this is a guy who went to the Super Bowl and played the most boring Super Bowl ever against the Patriots.
Right.
This is Ryan Tannehill. Who is he good?
If his name was Jared Higbee, nobody would know.
Oh my goodness.
I think another guy you could potentially start this week is let's see what percentage he was on some of my waiver wires. So I picked him up in a league or two here that will come up. He's about 2/3 owned, like 67% owned is Dede. Dede Westbrook again. Because going back to Minshew again, like when when Minshew was in there and Dede was healthy over these last several games, I mean, he's routinely getting, 8, 9, 10, 11 targets. So I think you could give Dede a try there too.
I got a question for you guys. I think that's a good start. This is a start sit. I've got Tate. Would you play Tate?
Is he playing?
Yeah, he's gonna play. He's off of protocol. It seems like a decent matchup. He'll be in the slot with Shepard out as the X. I don't know. I feel like this could be a good place for Tate.
I think it could be good in theory. Yeah. I guess part of it comes down to, are we going to see like good Eli Manning or 60-year Eli Manning? That's the question.
Yeah, for me, there's two questions. There's one. Well, I don't even know for me that Eli part is a question.
Ouch.
I think part of the question is like, but it is part of the equation. So like, even if Daniel Jones was in there, I would be, man, I don't know. Like, I'm really curious to see what the target share looks like with Slayton, Shepard, and Tate all in there, plus Barkley.
I mean, this might be a great. This is just making me think that Eli's gonna have a great game. Look at all the people he's got to throw to.
Shepard, Tate,
Slayton.
Oh yeah, Slayton. Okay.
He's got, it seems like
I love how it died right there. He's got, and then it just.
Well, I couldn't remember his name. Saquon.
He hasn't been the same this year.
I think he's getting better. He's healing. It's obvious. Like, he has a big thing around his ankle. It's obvious his ankle.
But I mean, you look at the Rams offense, look at all the weapons it has, and what you normally get out of Jared Goff. Like, the weapons help, but there's a level of ineptitude that can't be overcome by good weapons.
Well, but the difference is the offensive line, and I think that the Giants' offensive line is a lot better than the what's their name?
Rams.
My brain doesn't work. I think they've got a better way. I mean, the Rams' offensive line is the major issue. It's they might as well not have anybody there.
The major issue?
Yes.
I think it's an issue.
It's the major issue. You fix the offensive line, and you'd be surprised how Goff doesn't look so bad.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I mean, you give like any NFL quarterback, if you give them time to throw.
Yeah.
But I'm curious to see like how many. I'm gonna look this up while we're talking to see how many sacks have been allowed by Giants versus Rams here.
How do you find that out?
I just Google NFL. Well, it's NFL.com, but I should just bookmark the page. But I always just Google NFL team stats, and then it's like the first one to come up.
I used to just ask AJ.
No. Oh yeah,
when he would always be in studio here with me, and just be like, "Where do I go?"
Yeah, I think I found, if this is right, if NFL's not, yes, okay, offensive lineman statistics. Okay, let's see. So the Giants, they're 13th. They've given up a total of 35 sacks on the year. Comparatively speaking to the Rams, who have given up. Wait, which LA is that? There's double LAs.
Okay, so I found it. So oddly enough, the Rams have allowed it looks like, if this is correct, the second fewest sacks.
Yep, I'm looking at the same ones, 19.
Well, mainly because he's been throwing the ball, but throwing the ball to the other team, throwing the ball into the stands. He's not getting sacked. I don't think sacks is the best.
You just said the offensive line was the problem.
It is.
But it is part of the problem. But like if they were really that bad, he would have more. I mean,
because he's been handing it off too. Like, a lot of it is just is Gurley getting slammed in, behind the line.
Gurley, I'm pretty sure he's doing well this year. If I remember,
he's not doing great.
But so Goff also part of it is they're not. I guess maybe not. Maybe they're just not taking the time to try to throw the ball farther down the field, because the Rams have the 7th most attempts. 7th most passing attempts. So if you've got the 7th most passing attempts and the 2nd fewest sacks,
that's pretty good.
They're at least like getting the ball out quick, and the pass protection is not that terrible. Like maybe they're not like the best like run blocking defense, but I just don't think you can have. I'm curious now to see like what they're graded overall, where they rank, but I don't know. So I don't know that there's a significant difference between them and the Giants.
Crypto says Eli's going to surprise everyone, though. Feels like a primetime return. If he comes out and blows up, this is going to be like the return to end all NFL return. Let's be honest here.
You know what's too bad is that the Giants aren't like a fringe playoff team, so that we could have like the possibility for like one more Eli Manning.
Is it impossible for them to get in at this point?
Yes,
it is. Totally
impossible. Yeah. You need to have, I think, at least 5 wins in the NFC to have a mathematical chance to make it.
Well, depending, like
they have 3.
You need 5. If you don't have 5, you're out. Right now.
I know. So they need 2 more.
No. Right now, you need 5 wins to have a chance.
But not for the NFC East though, because the Redskins technically still have a chance, and they only have 3 or 4. But
I think even if they ran the table, I think they'd lose tiebreakers to the rest of the NFC East teams.
Yeah, because I know the Giants. Because someone said the Redskins,
they still have a chance.
Yeah, if they run the table and the Eagles and the Cowboys lose out,
because the division leaders are like 6 and 7.
Who are the division leaders?
The Cowboys at 6 and 7.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow. And the Cowboys could definitely lose every single game from here on out.
Oh, yeah.
I would love it if it was another like get in, like win the division. 6 and 10. That would be 7 and 9, or it could be like that old Seahawks season where they won the division at 7 and 9. The
Eagles, if they win this week, they could be in, right?
They'll be leading, but then they still have 3 games left.
It'll come down to at least week 16 where the Cowboys and Eagles play each other.
Yeah. And then out of the corner of our eye, the Giants, all their receivers get injured, and then all of a sudden from the tunnel, David Tyree streaks down the side of the field and just catches 5 touchdowns. What's gonna happen?
What's happening?
Come on!
The helmet catch.
The helmet catch guy
in the Super Bowl.
Giants Patriots.
You weren't watching football at the time.
Come on!
I've heard of that.
I've heard of that. Oh
famous.
My gosh!
I can't believe this.
When I heard most about it, was when
link to you right now
was when Odell had that one-handed catch. Against the Cowboys. Like everybody was talking about that helmet catch.
I am literally on my phone sending it to you right now.
Like as a football fan. As a fantasy football analyst, you have to like go back. This is like that would be like saying like, oh, I review movies, but I've never seen Star Wars. You've got to go watch this, but you need to go watch that whole Super Bowl because that whole Super Bowl was actually it's kind of boring overall.
Yeah,
but the
last quarter was good.
The end of it was insane. Yeah.
Okay. I think I remember watching this catch and thinking, I liked Odell's better.
You've got to be kidding me. Okay, here's the thing. Odell's was a regular season game. This is the Giants in the Super Bowl.
This was 4th down when the Patriots had it won. They had a perfect season in the bag.
Yep.
They nearly sacked Eli Manning. Today, if that play happened today, it would be blown dead. And somehow then Eli got away. Through the ball.
Big screen. There we go. Come on. We can find it.
Oh, is this the full game or?
No, somewhere.
Oh, those are the highlights. Skip forward a little bit.
Okay. What to what?
Keep
to
going.
The end, I guess.
Closer to the end. Yeah, closer to the end. Oh, wait. Before that.
It's before that. Yeah, probably.
Oh, right before that. Right before that. Here we go.
Is it?
Right before that. Yes. Okay. There we go.
Okay, go back. Yeah, we'll go back a little bit farther.
Back to the beginning of the play. We need 10 seconds. Okay, make it full screen. Here we go. You got to watch this.
We need to see. Okay, yeah, here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is turned into film day on the RotoHackers podcast.
This is Eli. This is where Eli escapes because he was done, and this was 4th down. This is end of the game, right? That
3rd and 5. 3rd and 5.
That would be blown.
Oh, that is far.
And boom.
That's like a 60, 70 yard.
Well, and watch how he catches it.
Watch how he catches
it. He pins it against his helmet.
With one hand.
Wow.
And it somehow doesn't, like when we see another angle here, I think this is the angle, like you see, like, how did this not touch the ground?
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, my goodness.
This is great.
I think it did touch the ground, but he had control of it.
He pins it against his helmet. And then holds on. And then,
wow! And then
this was 39 seconds.
Plaxico Burris who caught it. Yep.
Boom!
Game.
Wow!
Ball game.
Oh man!
And so that stopped a perfect season. What would have been a perfect season by the Patriots?
That is one of the greatest plays in NFL Super Bowl history.
Yeah.
And they won the Super Bowl right there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'd say that's right up there with the Santonio Holmes catch. Greatest Super Bowl plays of all time.
Yeah.
That's huge.
I can't believe you hadn't seen that. My goodness.
I was actually watching that game. I was at we were at maybe it wasn't that game, but it was that series. No, it was that game because they were playing each other. I was at a Margiano's and my wife's like, "Stop watching. Be here with me." I think we were engaged at the time.
Anyway, I think this is showing we're starting to burn out of content. Do you guys have anything that y'all want to finish us off with?
No.
Not this week. I don't have a lot this week.
Right, well, even if you don't have a stardom set, I'm giving you each a mandatory 30-second rant. So,
no,
Jared, first.
We each get one?
Yes, you each get one.
I think you need to do yours first. I didn't know this was.
I didn't know this was a thing either until 2 seconds ago. Honestly. I've had these banners up for weeks on the side, and I just have not used them at all. So I've just been waiting for a chance to use them. You know what? I'll say this before we get our rant. I've got one last stardom sit-em question for you in a game that completely does not matter for me. Do I go Kenyon Drake against Pittsburgh, Marlon Mack against Tampa, or Robbie Anderson against Miami in a flex spot?
Who?
Drake, Mack, Anderson.
Drake could have a big week.
But it's Pittsburgh.
Actually, you know what? I'd go Mack. Return to the Mack.
Really?
He would be last for me. I mean, you've got we know what Robbie is. Boom bust. So
I picked him up just out of sheer morbid curiosity, honestly. Yeah. Or I could pick up Benny Snell. That's the other thing. I could.
Oh, I'd play Snell.
Oh, okay. Snell.
Okay.
Snell.
Yeah. It'd be Snell for me.
Perfecto. All right, there we go. So.
Okay, so I'll do. I don't know if this is going to be 30 seconds, but
it's all right. Just go ahead.
Okay,
take it away.
If you're already locked in, if like you're playing Yahoo Pro Leagues or public leagues or whatever, where you have just semis in week 15 and the finals in week 16, and your game doesn't particularly mean anything this week, then go ahead and start looking ahead to next week. Start. If you see a defense that you're going to need to play next week, if you're going to have a guy or a spot where you don't trust your guy in a matchup or something like that, look and see who's going to be available for week 15 and try to go ahead and pick them up. Part of it is not only about what's best for your team, but if you know who your opponent's going to be, a lot of times it's about blocking your opponent from having somebody. So there are guys that, I may not need that third tight end or something like that. But if my opponent has a terrible tight end and there's someone out there on the wire with a really good matchup, I may pick them up to just avoid having them played against me. So, so that's my advice.
That's good.
All right. Judah Buddha, you're up next. What you got?
You know, I want to take back something I said earlier.
Go ahead.
Bet that surprises you. Baker Mayfield. I'm looking at Baker Mayfield. I'm looking at the injury report. I'm looking at his matchup. Like, I think Baker Mayfield could be a really good play this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Like a really good play. And I for some reason was fading him. I think mainly because of the injury concerns, but it doesn't look like it looks like everything's kind of healed. So I don't know. Like I think this could be a good week. I think he'd be a good play this week.
By the way, Claudio Jenkins is here joining us at the end, near the tail end of the episode. Good to see you.
Better get your question in fast if you got a question.
Yeah.
Throw it in.
We were literally starting to close up shop, and then here you are. Thank you for tuning in, man. Okay. All right. Now I got to give my 30-second rant. Here we go.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, my goodness. Devontae Parker. Look, I know that he's playing the Dolphins. I know he's on the Dolphins, and I know that we don't necessarily trust Fitzmagic, but the Jets have a bad defense. They do not have a good defense, especially not against the pass. Hang on to him, keep him, play him this week for sure. I'm playing him in quite a few places. I picked him up a couple weeks ago, and be sure to believe that he will get you the points that you need.
I disagree.
And also remember that Robbie Anderson is always going to Robbie Anderson.
Yeah.
There we go.
Fitzpatrick and Devontae are going to Fitzpatrick and Devontae as well. So.
Oh, yeah. Also, one last thing. Evan Ingram. Please. Just shoot me a text or an email and just let me know if you're going to play this year or not. Please. Because I have been keeping you for the entire season because you got auto-drafted on my team. And I would like for you to stay there, but if you're not going to be healthy, please let me know. Thank you.
Another option for next week, I would wait and see how he does this week. But the Browns tight end, who they just activated him off Njoku, he gets the golden matchup of the Cardinals next week. So if you're an Evan Ingram owner, especially, and you're not sure if he's gonna play next week, well, you should not be sure that he's going to play next week because it's probably 50-50 at best on any given week with Evan Ingram.
Drop him and pick up Njoku now.
Plus not knowing who's going to be their quarterback, plus not knowing, what kind of target share he's going to get with having, if all their guys are healthy. I would kind of wait to see what Njoku does, but if you can, go ahead and pick him up and stash him, and then he might be a much better option than Ingram next week.
Higbee would be better option, and Njoku. I mean, you got lots of options over Ingram.
Well, Claudio's got a couple questions for us. Here we go. Waller or Doyle? Parker or Allen? We answered that. Steelers, Packers, or Vikings D? Wow. Winston, Wentz, and Cousins and Tannehill are on waivers. Ooh. And full PPR, standard quarterback scoring, Jared.
I would actually go Waller over Doyle. Assuming that Hunter Renfro's still out, and I think he is, right?
He is,
yeah. Without him, that Oakland tends to spread the targets around a little bit, but if anybody's going to get a large share, it's Waller. Doyle should get a fair amount with Tampa on deck for the Colts, but it's Jacoby. That game in Houston, Doyle was constantly open, and Jacoby just was afraid to throw to everybody. So it's Waller. I just trust him more. Over Doyle. Parker and Allen. We already kind of answered that. Steelers, Packers, or Vikings. That's a tough one. That's some good options there. I'm going to come back to that in a second. So then the last one is quarterbacks. We kind of talked a little bit about the Tannehill Cousins thing. Winston and Wentz. Winston's a good play. I think maybe Wentz could actually be the safer play out of all these guys. I'm not sure. Like,
he's got all his pass catchers back, right?
He does. The Giants are a terrible pass defense. Wentz, I've just ignored most of the season after he kind of went into his little slump.
Wow.
But really, I think all four of those guys are good options, and it's really tough to like try to figure out what order they're gonna shake out in. But I think for me, gosh, this is tough. This is tough with Winston. I'm almost inclined to say, let me look at something on Winston here. Judah, you want to jump in, or AJ, either one, while I'm looking something up?
I think I definitely play the Vikings this week. I mean, I'm sorry, Steelers. Vikings could go either way. It could be like just a run happy game where like you need a lot of throwing for a good defense to really hit hard. And I would play. I think Wentz is a good play this week, but Tannehill's the safer play.
Parker, Allen.
Look, it's pumpkin week, guys. Fitz pumpkin week.
Yeah, I'm gonna differ on defense though. I like the Steelers. I've got them in a ton of leagues, kind of for their playoff schedule, but on the road against Arizona, Arizona's normally played pretty well. Last week they didn't, but I think it'll be. I don't know. I just don't like them quite as well this week. I would be, I guess, a little bit more inclined to go with the Packers. I don't know. It's tough to know exactly how they're going to do against that running offense, but if they can get ahead and force Dwayne Haskins to throw the ball a little bit, that could be a nice day for that defense. So, couldn't
you say the same thing about what's his name for the Cardinals?
For Kyler Murray, yeah, but I mean,
Kyler Murray is just a rich man's Dwayne Haskins.
No. They are two completely different players.
Yes.
The Steelers have just the Steelers, like, okay, so I was iffy on them for that Cleveland game a few weeks ago, and I should have been iffy on them, and I started them, and they had 1 point. I just defenses, I'm a lot more hesitant to trust defenses on the road unless they're just
playing against the Chargers because they don't have a stadium.
Playing against a really terrible team.
The Vikings are on the road?
No, the Vikings I think are at home, aren't they?
No, they're on the road.
Well, I mean, my pick was still Packers though, but
Packers.
Vikings are at home against Detroit.
Yeah, the Vikings are home. That first game was in Detroit. No, I would go Packers, and then it's just harder because at home a defense has the crowd with them. You've got noise to mess up make it harder for the offense and stuff like that, and so it's just harder for me to trust a defense on the road. And the Cardinals have had some solid outputs at home. It just, you wouldn't know it from last week, but that would be it for me. Probably the toughest one for me is Alan Parker. I think it's tough. I think you can make an argument for either one. I'm gonna go Parker because he's had more of a ceiling lately. Keenan's finally started to come back around again, but it's really just tough to trust what Phillip Rivers is going to do. I mean, even with Fitzpatrick, you can't exactly always trust him, but you can always trust that he's going to sling the ball downfield. So
yeah, I'm going to go Waller. I already said Devontae Parker, but part of my reason for this is that I think that the Chargers run game, no Miles Jack. I think that Gordon's going to have a big game. I think that Eckler could have a good game. So I don't even think they'll need to use the pass as much unless they, of course, get behind and Minshew Mania starts up again. But Allen is kind of touchdown dependent. I don't know what Rivers we're going to see. I like Parker over Allen, but I like Gordon a lot. As much as I like the Steelers D, but I mean the Packers are playing Washington, and the one place they're vulnerable at the beginning of the season was the run, which they've done better against in recent weeks. And then Vikings, I don't think are a bad play. And then I don't know how you have all three of them. And then between Winston and Wentz, I've already said I'm big on Cousins this week, but I mean I hear y'all are saying about this could be just a Dalvin Cook game, so maybe Winston or Tannehill.
You know what's crazy with talking about Chargers receivers is 6'4", 6'4", former first round pick Mike Williams, who had 10 touchdowns last season. He doesn't have any receiving touctions, does he?
Doesn't have any? I
don't think he has any. Maybe unless he ran one in or something.
Really?
His little box is a bunch of goose eggs in the touchdown.
Yeah.
Wow.
Had 10 last year, I think.
So he's going to have 10 this weekend.
Yeah, maybe he makes it up over the final,
final 4 weeks,
four games, and he gets.
I mean, statistical regression would dictate that he would get more touchdowns at the end of the. I mean, because he's getting so many long passes. If he's healthy, I think that's one of the biggest problems with him this year. He's been banged up all year.
Yeah.
But he should have a bunch of touchdowns in these last couple of games.
Yeah. I think
according to statistics.
Should is probably the right word. He should theoretically have them.
Well, it's a mix of stuff, though. It's like, again, Phillip Rivers has gotten worse. Whatever you want to attribute that to, he's just worse. They didn't have Hunter Henry last year.
Yeah.
So Hunter Henry is more of a red zone target. They're just relying more on dump off passes and stuff this year. And so I think, he doesn't have like the breakaway speed to catch a long pass and then turn it into a touchdown on its own. And then when they get in the red zone, Phillip Rivers just short circuits when he's trying to get the ball to a receiver. So I don't know. I don't know that there's any positive regression coming.
Please stop using that word. Please stop using that
I hate it too, but
why? I don't understand why you guys hate it.
Okay, positive regression literally means that means you're under the average and you're going up to the average.
Yep, that's right.
Oh, no, I'm not getting into this today. No.
It's a mathematical term.
Yes, I know it's a mathematical term.
Statistics. You say you like statistics. That's like one of the biggest.
You say that often. You say that quite often for star players. Like you said, DeAndre Hopkins is due for positive regression. For Hopkins, there is no positive regression because he's above the average. That would be negative regression.
No, we're talking about instances. So like a touchdown instances. He is due for touchdowns.
Which guy are we talking about here?
Mike Williams.
Mike Williams, yeah.
But that DeAndre Hopkins too is due for touchdowns.
But that wouldn't be positive regression.
Yes,
because he's been getting a decent amount of touchdowns.
No, see, so the statistics are this way. The amount of times he gets touchdowns for the amount of receptions he gets. So there's a statistical probability that he will get certain amount of touchdowns per receptions. He's been under that average, right? So the average amount of talking about game theory or any kind of statistical analysis, the average amount of I don't know what the number is, but the average number of touchdowns per receptions is, so right now he's under that average, under that line. So he got this many receptions. He should have this many touchdowns based on statistics, but he's under that. So positive regression would bring him up to that at least average, which I think it'll probably bring him above average. He's going to have a lot of touchdowns in the last couple of games.
Not really the definition of positive regression, because I just looked it up. I looked it up right now. It means that positive regression is regression going back to what you've done in the past. Positive regression means you're doing better than their recent performance. So,
no, positive regression means regression towards the mean, the average.
Right. So the average. Are we talking about the average for himself or the average for wide receivers?
We're talking about the average for touchdowns, right?
Okay, we can argue about this off screen. I
think the main takeaway is that even if you disagree, like we can all agree that viewers really what they're clamoring for is like in-depth statistical debate.
Of which we're using
all of a sudden
no
statistics.
statistics.
The views just jumped. There's like 45 people watching. They're just like,
of course. Well, anyway, everyone, thanks for tuning in.
Is that all of Claudio's questions?
Yeah, I think we covered all of them. If we didn't, let us know and we'll get right on them.
I like over 50% running for most.
Hey, at least he likes us arguing about statistics.
Oh, good.
So there we go. Anyway, thanks you guys for tuning in. Hope you all have a good week, whether it is your last chance to get in the playoffs, whether you're locked in, or whether you need to win this week. I hope you all have a good fantasy football week. And always remember that you can start Eli Manning if you have a bye and screenshot it and fool people into thinking that you started him this week, even if he does terribly.
You know what I'm thinking of doing?
Play anyone. What?
If I'm thinking of like putting in a quarterback that plays like late Sunday night, and if by the time that quarterback, like maybe I'm like winning tons, then I drop that guy and put Eli Manning in.
Well, I mean, the options are just Wentz, probably or Goff, because I mean it's going to be like because I mean you think about the Sunday and Monday night games, it's New York and Philly and Seattle and LA, so Russell Wilson's not going to be available.
Yeah.
So you're either playing Eli, or if you hold out till then, it's like Eli or Wentz if you have him.
Wentz maybe. Wentz is on the waiver wire. Maybe Goff.
All right. All right. Anyway, thank you guys for tuning in. Claudio, thanks for coming at the end. Crypto, thanks for hanging with us for the whole time, pretty much.
Nice.
We will see you guys on Tuesday for our Stardom Sit-Ems. Remember, we get 100 views on an episode. We're giving away 3 free T-shirts. We have 97 on one of them.
Next week's a big week. Semi week.
Playoff semifinals. Yeah. So be sure to tell everyone you know about the RotoHackers podcast. I'm AJ Herschel, also known as the Kid. That over there is Judah Buddha. That over there is the absolute stud. It's Jared. And remember, Claudio says to put in Colin Kaepernick this week. He will get you. Hey, he has a high floor of 0. 5 quarterback league.
There will be, which I'm pretty sure he's not available anywhere. I'm pretty sure he's not in the system, but can you imagine like starting him over, say you had like you could have started him over Nick Foles.
Yeah, that's a good point.
and you would have had more points because Nick Foles had you negative points. So so that needs to be the narrative for Colin Kaepernick is that look, here's this man who's outperforming at least one starting quarterback in the NFL in terms of fantasy points and can't get a job. Gotta go.
Funny. That reminds me of this one year on NFL Fantasy. They have like this section where you can ask just like NFL other players, hey, who should I start this week? You can take polls. So I asked as a joke one time when Andrew Luck was really good. I said, pick my quarterback, start 2. Should I start Andrew Luck, Josh Freeman, or Tim Tebow? And I had them pick 2 just to see who was up there. Nice.
Tebow.
Yeah, that's who they voted. They said Luck and Tebow. Anyway, guys, we'll see you on Tuesday. Have a great week. And I don't know how to do an